Mike Carlson joins us on the line this morning to talk to us about the end of the Gronkowski era. Mike, I didn't realise you were in the States. We've woken you up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Apologies for that.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I'm in Miami, and I could say that I was on spring break with Gronk, having a good time. But I was actually here for a family wedding, so it's a little bit more restrained than Gronkish.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about why Rob Gronkowski is going down in history as the greatest tight end of all time.
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure that he is, and I think you'll find some interesting arguments out there about that. And the reason for it is that classic kind of dichotomy between a player's value, peak value, and a player's career value. And at the tight end position, you've got Tony Gonzalez, who played at a pretty high level for 15 of the 17 years that he was in the league. So he has this huge accumulation of numbers. And Gronk played 9 seasons, of which maybe 6 you could call full seasons. And two were severely truncated. So the overall numbers won't impress the kind of people who were numbers crowds. But the most interesting thing about him statistically is that he played in 16 playoff games, which is exactly one NFL season if you put them together, and had 81 catches, 1,163 yards, and 12 touchdowns, which is a pretty outstanding season for any tight end anyway, and those are all in playoff games. And of course, the other thing is just when, I would say that probably on the peak level, he's easily the greatest tight end of all time because he was such a good blocker. One of the reasons why his body took so much damage, but he was one of the few tight ends you could have block a defensive end at 300 pounds, a linebacker at 230 or 260, and a defensive back with quickness, and rely on him to make those blocks. And of course, he had, especially before the injuries really set him back. And if you watch this year, you could see that to get to speed, he would have to gather himself up and get some momentum. But he had great speed at the start of his career, fantastic hands for a big man. If you go online and look at some of the highlights pictures, there are some amazing catches for a guy his size, being able to reach back against his body, make one-hand catches, and always make catches contested, because the NFL had 2 different rules about pass interference. And when it came to Gronk, you were allowed to do pretty much anything you wanted to do to him, because I looked this up one time. The way the rule reads is that as long as you're not gaining an unfair advantage. Well, he had such an unfair advantage over virtually anybody who covered him. He was faster, better hands than a linebacker. He was much bigger and stronger than a defensive back. That you weren't, you could ride him, you could ride his back, and you weren't gaining an unfair advantage. You were sort of just putting yourself on a level playing field with him.
The other thing he had was the trust of Brady throughout his career, and for reasons that become evident as you kind of watch towards the end, even when Gronkowski is playing on one leg or he's badly injured or not doing particularly well in a game, in the fourth quarter when Brady needs to find somebody, when he needs to get 10 yards or 7 yards for a first down, he's looking for Gronk all the time.
Yeah, and I think you hit the exactly correct word in trust. And that's such a big thing with Brady and his receivers. And there have been a lot of very good receivers who have gone in and out of New England because they couldn't get that trust factor with Brady. And you don't have to look any further back than the last Super Bowl and the Patriots touchdown play, where they ran the same play 3 times, setting up a mismatch with Gronk, and Brady hitting him on the 2-yard line with a pass that depended on him being able to lay out and catch it, because that was the only place that there was an opening for the ball to go. It was a beautiful play, and it'll be characteristic, I think, of what he, at least on field, what he's remembered for.
His timing, and the timing for his character to come into the national public consciousness of the States was perfect as well. He seems to be the perfect icon for his generation.
Yeah, and the old guys who are sports reporters and commentators and journalists didn't really get it. If you look back in retrospect, Gronk's pictures with B.B. Jones, the porn actress who he posed with what was that? Maybe 2010, 11, 12, somewhere around there. Were shocking at the time, according to everybody reporting. And of course, now they would not be any big thing. And I use spring break. I mean, Gronk often seemed to be living his life out of season as if he were on spring break. It was one big party. And, I just think now, especially, people look at that and just think it's great that somebody that good with that much drive and effort to keep himself good, and keep in top shape with all those injuries, and can also have such a good time. And I have no doubt that he's going to move into at least reality television, if not WWE wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. And that leads me to believe, Mike, that Gronk is a bit smarter than people give him credit for. That in the off-season, kind of forwarding this idea of his persona of a fun guy who likes to have a good time, that, really, he's a professional athlete who achieved incredibly high things. He wasn't having a fun time all of the time, surely. That there was a sense of him kind of pushing that persona and kind of accentuating that beyond the borders of the reality of his personality.
Yeah, there was when the Patriots signed Michael Bennett a few weeks ago, his brother Martellus, who played with the Pats, and in 16 when they won the Super Bowl, Gronkowski was injured in the through the playoffs, and Martellus was the tight end for the Patriots. He sent him a long Instagram message about the guys on the team, giving him some tips, and the very last line of the message was, "Oh yeah, I forgot about Gronk. He's a lot smarter than people think." And I just thought that was kind of putting it into a good set of words. The one thing that you worry about future career-wise, if it is wrestling, which is something, B.B. Jones said that he would make a great porn star, which would be kind of a come down, so to speak, for him. He was the reason the Patriots were able to draft him in the second round of the draft was that he had a bad back coming out of college. And he's a big, tall guy and hugely well developed, a thoroughbred, and kind of fragile in terms of that thing. And I'm not sure that the wear and tear of wrestling would be anything he'd be able to do for a long time, because your body can take a real punishment doing that. But I wouldn't say I look forward to, because I don't watch that crap, but I expect he'll have a long career doing reality TV, or maybe even a cop show. I think he did. I'm trying to remember which show it was. He did a guest appearance on a cop show, and I think there'd be a career there.
Yeah, no, totally. People are definitely going to watch that. Am I right in saying that he was in the same draft as Aaron Hernandez? Is that right? They came out together?
Yeah, Hernandez went in the fourth round because of the rumors at the time of the problems he had at Florida or Miami, and that was an amazing combination for a couple of years. When you think about it, sometimes the Patriots have had really bad luck with some of the talent that they've accumulated, but part of that is you could guess that Gronk would be injured during his career, that Hernandez might have problems. But Hernandez was not a great blocker, but he was really, if you watched like Cordero Patterson this season with the Patriots, he wasn't that much bigger than Patterson, but you had to account for him as a tight end, which meant he was always getting mismatches. And between the two of them, that's the name of the Patriots game offensively, is to generate mismatches, and the two of them just created so many of them. If they had been able to play together, with Gronk had been healthy and Hernandez had not been in jail, I think they would have done even better. It's an odd thing, and the Patriots have a real problem now because they really don't have anybody at tight end, and they're also very, very thin at wide receiver. So all of a sudden, Tom Brady doesn't have any weapons to go to beyond Julian Edelman, really.
They have lots of picks, though, in the top 100. Mike, we'll let you get back to the nice rum and the spring break in Miami. Thanks a million for talking to us.
Yeah, I might go for an early swim now. Once the sun comes out or something. I wanted to open the door on my balcony here, but it's actually right over Fifth Street. And Fifth Street's kind of the dividing line between Ocean Beach, which is where all the wedding stuff was, and then South Beach, which is where all the police and TV cameras and college kids are. So I'm safe on this side.
Best of luck. Thanks a million.
Thanks, guys.